of Vine and Wine. Our thanks to all joining us wherever you're based around the world. Let me introduce you on how we will proceed for this welcome meeting. After a presentation of the respective structures, speakers from the GWC will provide us with an insight on different member cities of the network. A question and answer session will follow the presentations, and you can write down your questions. Here's a recap of how to submit your queries. You have a chat box at the bottom right of your screen, and you can either write to everyone or to the organizers, and we will be present to ask your questions to the speakers in due course. Now, without further ado, please join me in welcoming Regina Vanderlinde to deliver her inaugural speech.
Good morning, everyone. Dear Mr. Faurens, dear Mrs. Leparmentier, dear General Director, dear Great Wine Capitals members, dear OIV members. It is my pleasure to be here with you today for welcoming the Great Wine Capitals and celebrated its recent observer status at the OIV. As an international intergovernmental organization of a scientific and technical nature, the OIV provides a comprehensive overview of the global states of the vine and wine sector. It works to harmonize practices, supports the evolution of this sector as it faces contemporary challenges such as digitalization, climate change, or wine tourism, thanks to its large network of international experts. And it relies on its observers to bring up the very concrete aspects of the field. Being an observer within our organization enables you from now on to participate of the OIV works, to attend expert meetings, and be present and aware when crucial decisions and resolutions are adopted for the wine sector. 14 international non-governmental organizations and the European Union participate nowadays as observer and are able to bring their expertise during decisions-making process at the OIV. Each observer, through the specific natures of its activity, contributes to provide the OIV with food for thought. They represent a direct contact with the actors and the stakeholders of the sector, which is fundamental for the OIV. We now count on you to share with us your knowledge, your reactions, and your experience. And I am convinced that you will allow us to gain an in-depth insight into the reality of the wine producing capitals that you represent. The aim of this collaboration is to set up a fruitful feedback relationship between our two entities. Thanks to the experience of its member cities, the Great Wine Capitals Global Network is a wonderful opening to excellence in tourism, business service, and education within the global alliance of its renowned wine areas. Being our respective approaches to each other, we not only catalyze fertile ideas for the sector, but we also bring the field closer. Looking forward to it. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Mrs. President.
Thank you kindly, Regina. And now we will, let me introduce you to Mr. Roca, Director General of the OIV. He will give you a presentation of the work of the OIV. In a few minutes, let me share the screen.
Thank you, Mrs. Chair. In Brazil, I think it's a very awkward to get up so early, but these are the things that this system has. No, a warm welcome to all great wine capitals global network, especially to the speakers today present, and welcome to all participants. I want to have a quick overview of the OIV. What is the OIV? And it's, as you know, an intergovernmental organization founded in 1924. It was recreated in 2001 with a new international agreement and the new OIV started in 2004, and we are now, as President said, 47 member states. The international treaty also enables some territories and organizations to participate to the OIV works as observers, and GWC is the 14th observer to join us. It is a scientific and technical based institution that ensures that the concerns of producers and consumers are well transmitted to its members, that assists to other international organizations in the area of standardization, and that contributes to the harmonization of the rules on all products of its scope, that is vines and wine and grapes. So this is the scope of the products in OIV. All grape-based products and also spirits based on wine distillation. So the strategic plan that we have in the OIV has a 5-year duration. It started last year. It will last for the next till 2024. And we have 6 axes. 3 of them are based on sustainability. So this is very important, sustainability. We are facing a new economy probably in the future after all this crisis. And so we are trying to anticipate this scenario. No? We are also focusing, one axe is focusing on digital transformation. And so we have also some particular points on enoturism. We signed last year an agreement with the World Tourism Organization and with its Director General, Zurab to promote wine tourism as a rural development tool. And at the same time, we also focus in training and education. And in our working plan and also in the strategic plan, we try to, we are working to harmonize the quality of professional courses in which I'm confident to find also a strong support of the GWC network. With all this strategic plan, we try to comply with and we are sure that we will comply with 13 of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. This is our structure. How do we work? With a community of international experts, between 800 and 1,000 active members, designated by the member states in 4 commissions, but also the observers can designate experts. So you are invited to participate in all these 4 commissions, 2 subcommissions. Of course, you are more specialized in the area of economy and law, probably, but you all can participate in all of them. And we work with in meetings and documents in 5 official languages, and we will incorporate soon the Russian also as an official language. This is the environment of organizations where we voice the specificities of wine. So we are a channel of communication to all these very important global intergovernmental organizations. Some of them you know, some of them they are very technical, like the one in intellectual property or the plant protection. With the objective to promote the cultural nature of wine and to develop research and wine education, the OIV has a series of programs, and some of them with long tradition. We have a prize on books and publications, the patronage of events and wine contests, the international congresses, the scholarship for students, and the international master program of wine management. We are working now on a new program on ampelography as well. So this is the wine varieties. And as a summary, this is the graph where you can see the services that we provide as a secretariat. We are a small structure of 15 staff with a very high spirit of service, that's true. And we work for the benefit of the sector and facilitating the work of delegates and experts. So as you see, the flow of information goes from the sector to the members, no? And we give a lot of importance to information and intelligence, to cooperation, and to this spirit of service. So thank you very much for your attention. Thank you, and very welcome to participate. You're very welcome, and I encourage you to participate in our structure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pao. Now, if Catherine wants to take the microphone and give us a short presentation also of the structure we are welcoming today, you are more than welcome.
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me fine?
Perfect.
Okay. So I wanted to make a short update on what is the Great Wine Capitals in particular for those of you participating in this meeting, but we are not fully aware of what we are, what is our organization. So the Great Wine Capitals was created in 1999 on a Bordeaux Chamber of Commerce initiative. We now count 11 proud members in our organization. We have 6 members in Europe, Bordeaux, obviously, Bilbao, and the association with the vineyards of La Rioja, Lausanne, Switzerland, Mainz with the wine region of Rheinhessen, Porto, Verona in Italy. And we also have 5 members out of Europe, Adelaide, and all the South Australian wine regions, Cape Town and the Cape Western and Cape Winelands, San Francisco together with the Napa Valley, Valparaìso and beautiful Casablanca Valley in Chile. So these cities and wine regions are among the best in the world, and they are connected and come together to share experience, knowledge, and good practices with, on behalf, and for their wine industry. Great Wine Capitals aims at developing collaborations and business connections. Our members participate together in international programs and projects for the benefit of all. We work mainly for the development of wine tourism, as already mentioned, but we are also very active and benchmark all the areas that are challenging for the wine industry nowadays, such as climate change, marketing, innovation, education, or of course, sustainability. Thanks to the Great Wine Capitals, our member cities have developed a clear international expertise in wine tourism due to our major program, the Best of Wine Tourism Contest. This international annual competition rewards properties and wine tourism operators for the quality and excellence of their hospitality services. It is in its 18th edition this year, and we have awarded nearly 700 prizes since the inception of the contest. The awarded wineries are closely followed and benchmarked after the nomination, And this gives us professional perspectives in terms of wine tourism, marketing, and innovation. I think this expertise is the reason why we are now officially linked and accepted as observer member in the OIV. Just a few words about our internal organization. Each member cities, the 11 members, are represented in our executive committee. The committee itself is chaired by an elected president. Jacques Faurens from Bordeaux is the current president for Great Wine Capitals. Of course, the executive committee supervises the strategy, the finances, and the trends they want to, the input they want the Great Wine Capitals to work on. We also have people from each capital working in different working groups about education, about wine tourism, about business in general. Our delegates meet in person, well, not this year, usually meet in person once a year during our annual international conference, and this is where we hold our annual general meeting. They also meet several times around the year by smaller groups to work on the different programs. Then some cities, some members have named an ambassador, like a brand ambassador, to promote our organization, our programs, and our activities whenever appropriate. And I'm happy to have two of our Great Wine Capitals ambassadors with us today. They are private business representative, and they are highly recognized in their countries or in the cities for the remarkable role they play in the wine industry. So this leads me now to introduce the speakers from the Great Wine Capitals that we have with us this morning. We will start by our president, Jacques Faurens. Jacques is from Bordeaux, is an elected member of the Chamber of Commerce. He has been for several years the vice president and treasurer of the Chamber. He is involved in real estate business, but he's also very much involved in the wine area. He was in particular at the base of the creation of our World Somm School, the International World Sommelier School. Then we will have dear Peter Gago. Peter is the Adelaide ambassador for Great Wine Capitals. Peter has been involved in joined the Penfold companies in 1989, and since this he's working all over the world to promote the brand, the famous Grange, but not only, and is a very big supporter of the wine industry in Australia. Then we will have Linda Reif from Napa Valley. Linda has been kind enough to register a short video that we will share with you. Given to the time difference, she has not been as courageous as Regina, and she just preferred to send a video, so we'll have her. Linda is the president and CEO of Napa Valley Vintners Association, and she was named by the Wine Enthusiast Journal magazine the Person of the Year last year, 2019. Then we will give the floor to Tim Harris from Cape Town. I think all the cities will then almost be represented. Tim is our newest member. Cape Town is our most recent member. They rejoined the Great Wine Capitals this year. And Tim is the CEO of Westgrow, the tourism, trade, and investment promotion agency for Cape Town. Finally, and if he succeeds in connecting, because for now he has not, we will have our Bordeaux Great Wine Capital ambassador, Fabrice Bernard. Fabrice is the president and CEO of Millésima, which is one of the most famous and efficient wine merchants in Bordeaux, very much specialized on online wine selling and e-commerce. Fabrice was appointed Great Wine Capital ambassador last year when we hold our annual general meeting in Bordeaux, and he was very, very supportive of us and of our network. So that's for now. That's all for now. So maybe I will give the floor to our president, Jacques Faurens.
Okay. Dear all, I would first like to say that
especially delighted to meet you today, despite the current situation, which forces us to meet online and not face to face. What brings us together today is an event that makes us especially proud. Since its inception in 1999, the Grade 1 Capital Global Network has wished to develop partnerships with other major international wine and tourism organizations. And the observer status recently granted by the OIV marks a new step in the development of our network as a strong recognition of the quality of our stakeholders and activities. Many thanks to the OIV presidency and to its general manager, Paul Roca, for helping to make a favorable decision. We are convinced that this partnership will result in a win-win collaboration that will benefit the entire wine industry. The wine tourism sector, spearhead of our Grade 1 Capital activities, will be especially concerned as it now considered as a key element of the essential diversification of wineries' activities, and as one of the assets towards the end of the COVID-19 crisis for the wine industry. But of course, we will remain very active in all the other fields of the business, improving the cooperation in the education area and increasing international relationships, as we will amplify a recruitment strategy for new members. The extraordinary times the world is going through nowadays make us even more determined to work together to design a favorable future for the vine and the wine industry. I am convinced that our partnership with the OIV will support this position in the future. This is also the opinion of the speakers that we are invited to talk now, representative from our member cities. Due to time difference, our partners from Napa Valley, as Catherine, could not attend this meeting and have recorded a short video that we'll share with you. I would also like to mention that Eliana Bermida, who is Mendoza ambassador for Grade 1 Capital, sent a message of great satisfaction to see the formalization of our partnership. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your presentation. And now would you like to start with the first presentation as speaker of Grade 1 Capital?
And greetings, yes. Peter Gago, Penfolds chief winemaker. I've been at Penfolds making wine now for 31 years. I live in Adelaide, the capital city of the state of South Australia. Geographically, it's a touch remote, yet consequentially sport viticulturally. We've never had phylloxera. It's a dry place with a winter-dominant rainfall possessing a treasure chest of old vines, many well over a century old, with a truly clean and green environment. Currently, we're so fortunate with our ongoing COVID-19 free bubble. Adelaide joined the Great Wine Capitals back in July of 2016. Adelaide's the home of the Australian National Wine Centre and the globally renowned Australian Wine Research Institute. South Australia is undisputedly Australia's wine state. It produces 50% of all of Australia's bottled wine and 80% of premium wine. Now, Penfolds, we're now 176 years old. We were established 8 years after the colony of Adelaide was founded. Across this time, Penfolds has always sustained a worldly approach. It was founded by an English medical doctor, Dr. Christopher Rawson Penfold, back in 1844. He travelled 12,000 miles back in the day in a sailing ship to make wine in a very different hemisphere. And now, Penfolds is currently engaged in a compelling and very successful alliance project in Champagne. Excitedly, we've progressed a winery investment in Bordeaux. And we've created a Californian range of wines made by Penfolds to be released globally next March, following our original bricks and mortar investments in California beginning back in 1988. Now, as for shared information, many know of Jo Collins. She's the Executive Director of Agriculture, Food and Wine of PIRSA, South Australia's Department of Primary Industries and Regions, and Vice President of the Great Wine Capitals Global Network. She relayed that Linda Reef, who will follow with a video, and her Napa colleagues were the first to initiate the direct sharing of information with us, following our extensive bushfires earlier this year. That was all based on their recent wildfire experiences. Linda has also initiated a Zoom session very early in COVID to share information and learnings between network members about how to adapt business, particularly in a virtual world. South Australian local wine businesses found this session and exchange highly valuable. To reciprocate, PIRSA have been in touch with Linda and her colleagues over the past couple of weeks during the fires that they are currently experiencing in California. Yes, what a year 2020 has been. For upcoming webinars, PIRSA will provide our friends in California direct access to experts from South Australia's recent experience to deal with issues such as smoke taint and the regeneration of fire-damaged vineyards. Startling viticultural issues, no longer rare, that are confronting our new millennium, complements of climate change. It's not so important for wine regions to share information and work together to get to know quicker and better how wine production is evolving worthwhile, given all the numerous challenges the sector has to face. Analogous to a global and ideally transparent quest to obtain a COVID vaccine, the wine industry, via networks such as the Global Wine Capitals and esteemed bodies such as yours, the OIV, work together to access and share information, to fast-track shared technologies, and to proactively promote innovation, all to ultimately make better and more diverse wines. I guess our united challenge is really to help guide and apply education and training, to focus on biosecurity and sustainability, to reward talent and achievement at many touch points around the world of wine, to communicate with many accents to many cultures across many continents, via the grape and via all who convey it to the glass, to have fun, to celebrate life and to improve it culturally. You know, wine tourism is the new sport of the enlightened. The global traveller wants to eat and drink differently and better. We have the wine, the people and the places. Adelaide will do its bit, but thank you for the privilege. Thanks for our inclusion in your great work. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you. This was a really interesting presentation. And indeed, 2020 has been a challenging year, but this very bright silver lining of welcoming your network into the OIV. And now I will share my screen in order for Linda to speak through this short video. I hope that everybody is able to see it.
Bonjour, good morning everyone from my home in Napa Valley, where I will be asleep when you're all meeting in France. But Jacques and Catherine were so nice to invite me to say a few words for this important moment for Great Wine Capitals, and I'm happy to do so. Napa Valley has been a partner in Great Wine Capitals since its earliest days, and we have found great benefit in the collaboration with the other top wine growing regions of the world. It's that type of collaboration that helps us to be more successful in the best of times and the more difficult times our industry faces, as we are all experiencing now with the global pandemic and here in California with the wildfires. It's only through the sharing of information, research, data, ideas, best practices that we can and will overcome the challenges. This sharing is a hallmark of GWC and of OIV, so it makes complete sense for GWC to join as an official observer, and it's especially meaningful for Napa Valley because sadly the United States is not a member of OIV. So bravo to GWC and OIV for this new partnership. I look forward to each organization making the best of it, and I'm happy to assist however I can. Cheers to all ahead. Thank you very much, and merci beaucoup.
There we are. So it was Linda Reef from Napa Valley. And now I would like to welcome Tim Harris from Cape Town, South Africa, to deliver a little speech on behalf of Great Wine Capital.
Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity, and to everybody who's come before, and the hosts of the meeting, Regina, Paul, Catherine, Monsieur le Président, merci beaucoup pour l'opportunity. It's a real privilege to be here. I think, Catherine, as the newest member of Great Wine Capitals, Cape Town and the Cape Winelands are back in the club, and we're very excited about getting back into the benefits that Peter was talking about, because the real upside that we see is around solidarity and best practice sharing. And there's an example of a previous crisis that we faced here in the Cape in 2018, which was the worst drought in our recorded history. You may have heard of it as in line with a campaign that was run called Day Zero, which was tracking the day that our city would run out of water. Our first call in that in dealing with the crisis was to our colleagues in California, who we knew had been through a similar drought. We also spoke to the Australians, who we knew had had a similar experience, but it seemed as if ours was unprecedented in terms of the pace at which the drought developed in the Cape. We were at that point highly dependent on 6 rain-fed dams, and by learning from our colleagues in California and Australia, we realized how we could engineer behavior change in water usage in the Cape. What that resulted in is an almost 60% reduction in water usage per person. And the encouraging thing is much of that has been maintained. There's been a dramatic change in attitude to water in the Cape, which we think is perhaps a model to the rest of the world facing climate change impacts. Also, today I can report that we're no longer dependent on one source of water. We're now up to 4 sources of water for the city. And we've had a lot of rain this week. The dams, as of this week, are now 100% full for the first time in a long time. So it's a real story of resilience in the face of climate change. And I guess it prepared us for this latest crisis that we're all facing together with COVID. So we see our wine industry and wine tourism as a really important partner to engineer a strong recovery for Cape Town and the Western Cape, both in terms of the economy and broader tourism. Our wine industry is really important for us in the Cape. We've got 10 wine sub-regions. 2 of them are actually in the city of Cape Town, Constantia and Durbanville, and the rest spread out across the Western Cape province. Bredekloof, Franschhoek, Paarl, Robertson, Stellenbosch, Tilbach, Wellington and Worcester. All in all, this is effectively the 8th biggest wine producing region in the world. We sell about 1 million bottles of Western Cape wine around the world every day. And just to put it in context, our agency, Westgrove, promotes Cape Town and the broader Western Cape province, which is very much in line with Great Wine Capitals, anchoring the wine industry in an iconic city. So certainly the framing works very well for us. We are also in the Western Cape responsible for about 95% of South Africa's wine offering, so very much it is a Western Cape industry. And certainly the Great Wine Capitals Wine Tourism Awards are something that we've had a really great response to as our wine industry prepares for a strong recovery from COVID. Right now, international travel to South Africa is not allowed, but we've launched this campaign that you can see here saying we're open. That is focused on our domestic tourism as we prepare the protocols and the infrastructure to eventually welcome international travelers one day soon. When we do that, wine tourism will be right at the top of our offer to the world. But of course, we are especially excited about the observer status with International Organization of Wine and Vine, because the wine industry for us is about much more than just tourism. It's also about the social challenges that we have in South Africa and the burden of our history, and the winemakers and the wine producers that are tackling that history head on, not only in production and agriculture, but also in science and innovation out of our universities such as Stellenbosch that are leading the agenda in wine innovation in Africa. So certainly we take a very broad view on the benefits of the wine industry for Western Cape and South Africa. And so we're looking forward to being part of the International Organization of Vine and Wine, so that alongside our membership of great wine capitals, we can help turn this great industry that we have here in the Cape into an even stronger job creator for South Africans. Thank you very much for the opportunity to join you today.
Thank you very much, Tim, and thank you for this very detailed presentation of the reality of the field, which is fundamental for the OIV, and the OIV relies on its observers to bring up this very concrete aspect of the field. So thank you very much. And last but not least, I would like to welcome Fabrice Bernard in Bordeaux to deliver the last speech. And after, we'll have a time for questions, so feel free to ask your questions in the chat box whenever you want. Fabrice, over to you.
Hello everybody. I'm very happy to be with you today. I'm very agree with all of what you have said. Like Peter Gago, the planet completely changed, and it's exactly the same in Bordeaux. The crisis is the same in Bordeaux than in Adelaide or through the world. The world is completely changing, and to be in the same network, OIV and Great Wine Capitals, I think it's a really great opportunity for all of us, because we need more agility to change more quickly, and we need a lot of information also for the production of wine, for the communication, and for the selling, and of course for the wine tourism. So to share all the information, all ideas that everybody have, is the only way to progress and to improve the experience for the customers. So to be in the same network, OIV and Great Wine Capitals, it's a very good opportunity for us and for all of the company. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fabrice. And now we thank you for all the presentations you all gave us. And attendees are now invited to write their questions. We will allow about 10-15 minutes questions. I already had a first one which arrived, and Tim partly answered it, but maybe other speakers will have another image and insight to give us. And the question is, have the network been of any help during COVID-19 crisis? And do you have any examples of how the network helped the different renowned wine regions to go further on during and to go through this crisis? So whoever wants to speak, maybe Catherine or one of the speakers. Catherine?
Yeah, sure. Well, during at the very beginning of the COVID crisis, we were all, stuck by what happened, by the crisis, by the lockdown. And very quickly, we organized Zoom sessions together with our different members and cities on different topics. The first meeting we had was by an initiative of Napa Valley about wine marketing and the role of the professional wine organization towards the local government. What would they have? What was necessary for the wine business to keep going in this crisis? And in terms of production, should the workers be allowed to work in the vineyards? About selling, how would the sales be organized without being able to ship it like traditionally, etc. So we had a first session with all the cities, and some were more advanced than others, and we shared experience. Then we had other sessions together with about specifically wine tourism, like before Europe reopened again in May, June, we were more ready than others in Bordeaux or in Bilbao, Rioja, or we were more ready because we were going to open when others, unfortunately, are still closed at this time. So, sharing our experience. And then we had also another session, Zoom session with after we reopened in Europe at the end of June, where we shared how it worked, what was the issues, when visitors were back to the wineries, what were their fears, the sanitary rules, etc., how were they implemented. And we also had a session specifically with our Best of Wine Tourism awarded wineries. So we had about 72 different sessions, always due to time difference. We had 2 sessions about how the expression of what they did during the crisis, during the lockdown, and what they were doing afterwards. So I think this share of information, like not in real life, like we say, but like at this moment, here is what we're doing, and this will help you that we share this information when you, on your turn, will be open. It was a big success, and there are many good practices that have been promoted and applied in our wineries. I think during COVID was the strength of the Great Wine Capital, the strength of an international network is a really strategic priority, and really supporting the different the wine sector as a whole.
Thank you, Catherine. It reminds me of Linda's presentation when she said, I'm quoting her, that the network helps them to be more successful in the best of times and in the more difficult times also. So indeed, thank you very much. I have another question coming up, asking does the network have some main targets and objectives? For example, at the OIV, we have a strategic plan with some main objectives that we want to deal with for the next years. I don't know if the network works with some main ideas. For us, for the moment, it's digitalization, climate change, wine tourism. Indeed, wine tourism is a common objective, but maybe could you go deeper as one of the speakers?
Well, just to mention that we signed our new strategy for 2030 in the Great Wine Capitals. We signed this last year in our annual conference. We have targeted different sectors, of course, more than others. One of our targets is one of the strategic field we're working on is membership, because we are willing to increase the number of members. So this is important because we would like to be a little bit more numerous, not too many though. We are not, we want to remain on the exclusive high-end board of the wine industry. So we're working on this particular thing. Of course, sustainability remains something very important for us, wine tourism obviously, and education is also something we want to increase our activities towards, because we already have signed, thanks to the Great Wine Capitals, different partnerships between universities and business schools. Like a few years ago, we signed a Cage Business School, which is Bordeaux main business school, signed a memorandum of understanding with the University of Adelaide, and more recently, last year, they signed also a partnership with the École Hôtelière de Lausanne, which is one of the most reputable hospitality school, bringing Bordeaux Cage Business School would bring the know-how in the wine towards their gastronomy, this gastronomy school. So we want to increase those kind of partnerships, and this is one of our goals in the new strategy.
And I add something. I would like to underline everything that Catherine has said, because she has responded very well to the question. And in this partnership, I think we have been identifying very clearly that there is a very strength, a big strength on enoturism and education. Those two axes are very important. And of course, by the intervention of many of you, or by the persons that Peter Gago and Tim, Harris and Fabrice, we have seen references to a lot of troubles, a lot of the wildfires and the terrible drought periods, but the present crisis, it's directly affecting tourism. So this is really the worst situation of all. And we are so confident in the resilience of the sector because of its diversity and because of its own capacity to react and adapt, that I think the network, it's an accelerator of the recovery. And I see a lot of optimism in spite of the situation. So I think at this moment, the bringing up our forces and great wine capitals and OIV have a very strong identified goal, which is wine tourism recovery and building up the capacities to make this recovery. And I think we will do that quite fast because we have the structures. So this is the objective, I think. Jacques, I'm sorry that I was so clear, but I think Jacques agrees with me a lot.
I share exactly the same with you, as you know, it's very important for us. But the COVID crisis is very something never happened before for us. So we have to react. We will react to it together.
Absolutely. And we're all waiting, ready to go. That's the thing, the rebirth, which will happen very energetically, whether it's Finexpo in Bordeaux next June, whether it's whatever, when it happens, we're all ready and waiting. Ready
we
to
have
go.
An immediate, we have, I want to recall that we have an immediate call on 22nd September. We have a common meeting and a webinar of great wine capitals, OIV and United Nations Tourism Organization. And I think this will be a starting moment, very important to gather all these problems into a, to speed up the recovery. So I invite you all to this webinar on the 22nd September with the World Tourism Organization that today is not here, but we have a strong partnership. We have to build this strong partnership with them as well.
Thank you very much, Pao. And indeed, it will be the first achievement of this collaboration coming up very soon. For any question you might have on the webinar, I have put in the chat box 2 emails. You can register on these emails. And the link will be soon ready with, I hope, for the press release of our meeting. I have another question coming up, and the question is, it's more clarification. If I understand correctly, the Great Wine Capital restricts its membership to only one city/region per country. What are the benefits of such a non-inclusive policy?
Well, this is indeed true. This is a basic criteria in us in its register. It's written in our statutes, in our partnership agreements that we have together. The idea is to promote besides, because we talked about a lot about collaborations and exchanges, good practices, etc. on the benefits of the wine industry, but we also are actors of a promotion of our destinations, and we really want to promote our destinations of excellence towards the general public and towards, and in particular towards the tourists. And we feel it's important to have one spot to promote, presumably, I mentioned, I will take gloss for that, but presumably among the best regions, wine tourism regions of the countries. So this is very important for us, and all the energy and promotion and all the exchanges, all the money and time and energy that we invest in the Great Wine Capitals, we do that for our own territories, for our own wine industry, local wine industry, and this is why we're not open to other regions in the same countries.
Thank you very much. We have maybe 5 more minutes if any other questions want to be asked, either in the chat box or maybe if you want to speak. It's up to you. Otherwise, we remain available to answer them even afterwards. If you think about one, just feel free to let us know. And otherwise, I would like to thank you all for joining us today. It was a real pleasure to welcome the network at the OIV, and I hope that the presentation of both structures will help us to understand the work of each other and to work in a very good feedback relationship to improve all the sector. Stay well.
Thank you. Yeah, I would like also to thank all the participants. I would like to thank my Great Wine Capitals friends who talked this morning, this afternoon, so you, Peter. And I would like to thank all our Great Wine Capitals friends that are attending this meeting. And I'm happy to be involved with you and with us and with the OIV and all the OIV experts that are also attending this meeting. I'm ready to answer any question, of course, if any, after the meeting on my email. So thank you for welcoming us that way, Mrs. Vanderlinde and Paul, and looking forward to working with you in the close future now.
Thank you very much. Pao, any final remarks before we close?
Not many. I think everything has been said. Thank you to all of you. You have this date of new meeting, this call on the 22nd September. We are starting this partnership. I am very confident of the tourism recovery, and that's an instrument at the service of all humanity, in fact, not only of the sector. But I feel very strongly on the recovery of wine tourism. And I think that we are providing for a big service to sustainability in general, in global, by delivering this type of contribution and cooperation. Thank you. Thank you, Jacques. Thank you, Regina.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye to all of you.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice day too.
Have a nice
Bye-bye.
day. Thank you.